Welcome to the BizTech Pulse Podcast, where we bring you the conversation with remarkable leaders shaping the future of business. I'm your host, Krishna Hari, and today I'm thrilled to introduce someone whose global finance and operational expertise is truly to the next level. Please join me in welcoming Elena, the Chief Operating Officer at Kyndryl, the tech services spin-off from IBM. Based in Dubai, Elena brings over 20 years of international experience in finance and operations spanning the Middle East, Africa, Central, Eastern Europe, Russia, and the CIS region, backed by strong academic foundation, including an MBA from Warwick Business School and participation in IBM's Women in Finance Leadership Program. Throughout her stellar career, Elena has served in various leadership roles, from finance controller and budget and strategy leader at IBM to CFO of joint venture and pricing lead across diverse markets. She's known for streamlining financial operations, enhancing compliances, testing, and leading transformative projects that drive efficiency and growth. Today, we are excited to explore her journey from navigating complex global markets to fostering innovation in Kyndryl, and hear her insights on leadership, resilience, driving growth in the fast evolving world of tech services. Without further ado, let's dive in. Elena, welcome to the show. I wanted to appreciate the remarkable international journey from Siberia to Dubai, covering 50 plus countries. What were some pivotal moments that shaped your global leadership perspective, and how did you decide which opportunity to pursue?
First of all, thank you very much, Krishna, for inviting me to your podcast. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. Of course, I'm glad to share the story if it helps one or two people to shape their journeys. It would be not time wasted in vain. So to answer your question, how did I go from Siberia, Russia, in the middle of nowhere? I was born in a small city, a small town actually, to Dubai. I covered around 5 countries, 5 continents. Throughout my 20 years of career, I just basically went with the flow. Where opportunity has been, there I was. First, I moved to the US, still on a student leadership exchange program. When I was a teenager, graduated high school, and back from then, the world just shrank for me. It just changed my whole perspective of the world. Being in IBM Moscow, I think I was around 25 or 27 when we moved to London, and I was covering the software unit for business controls perspective and audits in around 28 countries. It required for me very much of the flexibility to form the team, land in the country, do the audit, do the action plans, and then move on. For the Azerbaijan role, as you mentioned, that was the joint venture. We just set up the company with one of the largest oil and gas companies. Again, I was given 2 hours to decide on the Christmas day if I want to take the CFO role or not. Again, one of the advice is to have a support from your family. My husband at that time was a great support, and we said yes with a small child. So I was flying from Monday to Friday to Baku, the capital, and was setting up the enterprise. After that, Dubai came, which was out of question. So again, I was following the opportunity, and I advise you, if you have a career, if you want to build some international career, explore, get the sponsors, get the mentors, and move on. Yeah.
Wow,
that would be my advice.
Work-life balance, especially for women with an international career, with family, it's very challenging how they balance both.
Exactly.
The other one is you transition from a CFO role to a COO role. What prompted that shift, and how did your financial background prepare you for leading a broader operation, including procurement, workflows, and real estate?
I spent 18 years in finance departments, and of course, I'm always saying finance is my heart, still where it is. I like the numbers. Every closing comes, and I got thrilled by this. Around 2 years ago, 2.5, so our GM wanted to do some transformation project, and he invited me, and we clicked together to work, and he suggested it was, again, by chance or by opportunity, by working with the people. It helps me a lot, the financial part, so not only thinking about the top line for Kyndryl, where I work right now, it's signing, how much bookings we do with our customers, the deals and operation processes. It also helps me think of the P&L of the company as a whole. What is our bottom line? What kind of decisions we need to make on the cost and expense side to make it work, and how these risks and opportunities will shape our financial future. What are the financial implications? I have a great team, so great to be part of CEO and CFO who are forming this great and safe environment where we can strike new ideas, either finance, operation, strategy, business, between each other to find the best solution for our company and for our people.
Just to give a lay of the land, how big is Kyndryl in the Middle East? What's your team size? What sort of revenue P&L you carry?
We cannot disclose this, but I can say, for example, on the strategic markets where we are part of, because we're traded on New York Stock Exchange. So Kyndryl is a $3.5 billion company. Revenue-wise, strategic markets is around 1 billion. Here we have around 500 people. It's also including CIC part. Usually we have our engineers in India. Plus we have, of course, on-site presence in Middle East. Mainly the operational markets for us, the one that are growing, UAE and KSA, of course. But we also have some operations in other parts.
I know Saudi has a lot of investments going on in the technology, AI, and data centers, stuff like that. How is Saudi market for you currently?
It's where the opportunity is. Again, we opened the RHQ just recently, a year ago. To give you the perspective, my GM, my CEO moved there to strike the business. We have anchor clients, anchor accounts. We work with one of the biggest banks there. We work with the biggest mining company. So basically, we have already the base, and of course, to expand, we need to be there. Kyndryl is the biggest IT infrastructure companies. Once we land, we want to land and expand, and not just land and live on the IT side of the things of the customers.
Very good, very good. Good to know, especially Saudi, followed by UAE and Qatar. A lot of investments happening in the current situation. You have been one of the few women at the leadership table in regions like Saudi and Pakistan. What challenges and breakthrough have you experienced as a woman leader in the Middle East?
Good question. In Pakistan, a couple of years ago with my GM, it was an interesting experience as I didn't see any women at all in the business environment. We met with 8 of our biggest clients, like banks and so on. Always were at the table, it was just me and other men. Yeah. Same was in the office or in the hotel, so I didn't see women working. We need to accept our differences. Culturally, traditionally, here is a different country, and I have a lot of respect for women who decided to stay at home and raise the kids. It's every choice that the woman needs to make for herself. There is no punishment for that. In KSA, we are working, as I said, with one of the biggest banks. We have around 150 of our people on site, and out of them, only 5 were women. They were actually allowed to work in the government bank like 3 years ago. So just think about this perspective coming from Europe and from that side of the world. I was in Riyadh and I did round table for the women to tell them what kind of career growth you have, where you can move and so on. To tell about the possibilities that you need to have the mentors and sponsors who can take you up through your career chain. If you want, if you're just happy where you are, it's no blame again.
You bring a very important point because I was there in Riyadh for the LEAP conference. Before coming to the US, I was in Bahrain for 4 years in the IT segment, networking, Cisco, selling compact servers and stuff like that. I went there 23 or 24 years back. I'm in shocked to see the level of women participation in the workforce. That's really amazing. I've never seen that before. Let me put it that way. We drove from Dammam and then flew to Riyadh for the LEAP conference. In the LEAP conference itself, in all the booths, the women employees was mind-boggling, which is really good. Right from immigration in the Riyadh airport, all the immigration officers were ladies. I've never seen that.
I think they're hardworking. They have the best of education from American universities. Those are very hardworking women. And now they have a chance to strive to shine. I'm always telling them, take your place at the table. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to sit together with the men and solve the same issues because you have the brains for it. Yeah,
it's a huge change. Dubai is totally different. Dubai compared, especially the changes in the Riyadh, Dammam, which I saw, Bahrain. It's amazing. You have led the SAP transformation across multiple regions and organizations. What are the top lessons you have learned about driving successful digital and financial transformation in complex multinational environments?
On SAP, and I've done it, I think, twice. I'm going to do it the third time for our HQ actually in Saudi. For me, it's 3 points. First, it's to have a clear plan how to implement this, to implement the units. Kyndryl went through the whole unit transformation. We implemented most of the units. It's not just financial, but the rest, for example, procurement for us, which is in my domain. Second is clear track of the actions, especially testing out the mistakes and reacting quickly and correcting them immediately, because that's how you improve the outcome. Third is, for example, in Kyndryl on the pre-launch date, all of the transformation SAP leaders were gathered in one place in Center of Excellence in Bratislava. We had the daily drills twice a day, how the system went live, was there mistakes, and correcting them. Again, it's not an easy decision and it's not easy to implement. We still had some hiccups already 2 years after we implemented, but I think it's one of the best financial units when I've seen it. When we implemented in JV, in joint venture, I was amazed what took me 2-3 days to make was done at the fingertips. My husband works for SAP again.
Wow. Okay.
It's very dear to my heart, but I think it's one of the best financial systems that you can use from the compliance, from the financial, from the analytics and how the data are shaped.
Does he work for SAP Middle East?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
He works for worldwide, but he works
worldwide. Great. Good to have that support on the back of the family itself.
Yes, exactly.
Coming back, I think how is Kyndryl using Power BI dashboards and internal tools to reduce reliance on Excel, drive real-time decision making? Could you share a practical example of how this has improved operational visibility on our financial outcomes?
My CEO is using them daily. So the Power BI dashboards, we practically get rid of the Excels, especially for the operational activities when we do the forecasting and so on, starting from procurement, from the DSO dashboards, day sales outstanding, how much we spend with each of the vendors, what is our forecast, procurement, again, Pro Insights unit of the SAP. And of course, deal forecasting, how much is our pipe, what is the quality of the pipe, what is the quantity, what are the deals in the pipe. To discuss this with the sellers directly from the system helps a lot because Excel, again, it brings a lot of possibilities for human mistakes and errors. Having the Power BIs helps us to run the cadences much more smoothly. Again, I'm a big ambassador for the Power BIs. I use them daily as well. What I like to see is the actionable insights. Sometimes to gather the data took me longer when I was back in finance just to fix the system errors, and then you don't have time for sit down and just look at the data and see what actionable insights you can get out of this. With the Power BIs, it gives you a nice, very visually friendly dashboards that you can already see, oh, this is the outlier and this is how you need to act on it. So again, if you use the systems wisely, that it helps a lot.
What is your backend ERP? You have an SAP or Oracle? You have an SAP, ECC or a HANA?
I even have it on my computer here.
Oh, wow.
Yes, for HANA, yeah.
And the front end, I think you use Power BI. Okay. I know you have had a CFO role. What is happening on the AI thing, especially on reducing the DSO days? Have you done any automation on the AP, AR, OTC process?
DSO dashboard basically shows me how much outstanding I have by what date, right? It's not AI still implemented, but it just shows me the predictive analytics where I would land in case I close this invoice. We're not yet at the AI side of things, but we in Kyndryl, we use it more on the client side. For example, we have Kyndryl Bridge, which is an AI-based tool where you see all of the IT customer environment, and then you can see, okay, where I need to page, where is the issue, and what is the automated page that I can apply. It's more on the client side. We still, sure, without shoes, as I say, SAP is working perfectly. We still need to develop the AI, especially in finance.
That's nice. You're leading operation across the Middle East. What culture and regulatory nuances have you had to navigate, such as setting up RHQ or handling local VAT or compliance? How do you adapt global strategies to regional realities?
We set up, as I said, the RHQ entity. We had a project. I was driving it throughout the last year. And my GM moved because of the business potential, not just because we were told to do. So we are trying to open the entities in other GCC countries. And I see it's not that easy from the tax and treasury perspective. We still have some tax issues within the GCC other countries. And it's still taking a long time to take tax out of the countries. We need to see some more flexible rules in the regulatory environment and simplification and establishing the entities. We are moving in this direction, but also the government needs to move in our direction to make it more easable for us and more tax-friendly to establish the entities. Yeah.
The Emirates, the Dubai government, especially, their adoption is much faster compared to any other.
I agree. I've been invited to the Abu Dhabi, for example. One of the government companies in Abu Dhabi, they introduced, again, from financial perspective, one of the procurement units with the agentic AI. I saw that all of the small, low-value quotes were done by the agent. It doesn't mean that you need to cut out the people, but your procurement people can be used for more difficult and higher transactions. Exactly. I've seen how the person with the phone scanned the barcode, took how much it costs from different vendors, and then set how much you spend on it for the several years before on the similar product. For me, that's again very fast speed in development environment. Of course, I'm pro AI. Of course, you need to watch the quality of the data, right? Still, I think that's the future.
Amazing. What advice do you have for someone who aspires to be a successful woman, expat executive like you in the Middle East region?
First, I think build your own brand. Yeah, nobody will speak for you except for you. Be visible. I do participate in a conference. Sometimes I take it as additional, how to say, burden, because you need to take a place out from work, but you need to position your brand wisely, your own brand and the brand of your company. So people need to hear about you. Second, conferences outside, for example, not just in the Middle East. I went to New York twice this year for culture conference, for AI conference. I think it's good to have connections with mentors who can give you the ideas how to shape your career further. So that's the second, mentors and sponsors. The third is have the work done. Do the projects that makes you visible, go way beyond what is your responsibilities on paper. For example, as I did this transformation projects for the GM, I would never be COO because he would just not see what I'm doing if I did what I was doing 9 to 6.
You nailed it. You nailed all 3 points. The very reason we are having this podcast because you came to that conference, all right?
Exactly. True.
Where you meet very diverse ideas and meet people and you come across so many stuff. I think even one of the inspiration for this podcast is when I meet people of different background and caliber, the value it creates to the audience, right? That's what we are trying to do here. That's one. Do you suggest any books for women entrepreneur or a woman executive which stands out in your reading habits?
Mm-hmm. I was going through my notes back from 2013 and 14, and I just noticed the book that I wanted to read, and I read it accidentally without remembering this. So it's Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In. She was the CEO of Facebook. This is her advice, basically, not mine, to sit at the table and kind of work your way out of maternity leaves and get back to work quickly. That's what happened, right? When you have the kids, you think maybe I just take off and then it's hard to come back. So she has it very nicely written how to come back and to really ask for the support from the family to get back to the workforce and to make the career after. It doesn't end with kids, it just starts with kids because then you know how to multitask the things. So that's the one that I would recommend really. It's called Lean In. I think it changed my perspective on the work.
Have you read about Indra Nooyi, the biography, I think, who was the CEO of PepsiCo?
Oh, nice. I will take it down. Thanks for recommending.
I tell every woman employee in the organization, as well as whenever I see my daughter's friends and stuff like that, I ask them to read that book. Even Sheryl Sandberg, her book is also very good for any woman executive. Indra Nooyi's book also, she has written about the challenges, the biological where your career peak and your childbearing age, it coincides. And it's a very huge challenge for her to balance both and how she balances and stuff like that. What are the challenges that she had, especially being a CEO of PepsiCo? You can imagine the level of pressure and juggling which she has to do. She has written very nicely, I think.
I will check this one because it very correlates to me. I've been maternity leave twice. I have 2 kids, 5 and 10. For me, it was to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
It just took you back in the career, and you need to have this resiliency to start to say, okay, I was out, the people changed, the things changed, so I need to start to learn again. It's about our resiliency. You should not be offended, or I start with the lower band, or before I was the manager, now I'm not the manager. So just get rid of it and go back, and then you will pick it up quickly.
I'm currently reading a book called Parentship. It's basically written by one of my friend local here. Her name is Elena. She is from Kazakhstan, I think. She lives in the same neighborhood, and she has written a book, and she is an executive coach. And she's from London to US in the last 2-3 years through BP. She has written a book about how a working woman, along with the family, if she brings the team building concept of corporate to a family environment, as a family, both your kids, husband, wife, you become a team. Everybody has their strength and weaknesses. How do you play to the strength of all these people, and how do you juggle, right? She has written a lot of take-home points. She has brought the corporate
world into
a family
world,
situation. I'm reading that halfway through. A lot of good points in the sense, how do you juggle For example, for her moving into US, understanding the language, the kids in terms of their way of speaking, are brought up and whatever she has. Her husband is from Norway. She's from, I think it's Kazakhstan. And the cultural challenges after that, she did 2 or 3 big moves, right? In the whole family, and then a lot of changes. How do they handle that, right? Plus, she's also a corporate executive coach. I mean, she's pursuing her corporate career as well. So you can imagine so many changes, and she's writing this book.
That would be very interesting
Written a
because
book
that's
and
exactly what's happening with the kids. Our kids are also third culture kids. So one was born in Los Angeles, one was born in Moscow, but they were all raised up in Dubai. Dubai is good for the kids, for the family environment. I never felt foreigner here. For example, in London, I still felt that I'm a foreigner, and we stayed there for 2.5 years. Here, I feel more at home now.
yeah.
So,
Middle East,
yeah.
Dubai is totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally international. But it would be interesting to see the different perspective on this.
Yeah. Any closing remarks?
I think one of the points is not to be afraid, because usually we're this imposter syndrome that is more in women than in men. We know something, but we're afraid to speak because we would think somebody would oppose us or think that we're not smart enough. We need to overcome this, and there are techniques, as you said, career coach. I also have a coach. I have a former COO of Russia for SAP, and she's coaching me. She's a mom of 6, but she still coaches me how to handle different situations. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to speak up.
Everybody needs a mentor or a coach. There are people I know, successful people have 2 or 3 coaches, and in the sense, different ideas, right? You may have one main person, but at the same time, you may have 2 more to bounce off various other perspective on the professional side, on the personal side, the various industry side. I think the overall, I'm pretty happy in terms of whatever tidbits or whatever ideas you shared. I think it was very valuable.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was an honor again, as I said.
For the audience, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the BizTech Pulse podcast on your favorite platform. Every bit of feedback helps us to improve and give you better podcasts like this. You can also follow us in LinkedIn, Spotify, and Apple platform for updates on upcoming guests and behind-the-scenes stories. If this conversation with Elena sparked new ideas or reflections, we would love to hear from you. Drop us a comment and connect with us online.